levers more, you'll really start to create a much better perception of how much arm action you want. So often we get taught and encouraged to switch off our arms in the downswing. I hear all too often on my lesson tee that the explanation of someone's golf swing is that they feel all too armsy and not enough body action. Now, when you look at the modern day golf swing, the likes of Tommy Fleetwood, we see this motion of the held off finish where we see that kind of umbrella finish, which really discourages golfers from feeling like they can use their arms in their downswing and most notably in their backswing. Today, I think we want to really get into the depths of how the arms need to move in a backswing and a downswing and how much you need to feel like your arms are switching on. Let's not get away from the fact that we are holding onto a golf club in our hands. Our hands are bolted to our arms, which are bolted to our shoulders. This system of having two levers, one hinge, one lever, the club, two levers, the arms, hinge in the middle. This is an incredible speed producer when we get the arms swinging. So when you think about putting the feet together, and I'm just going to switch on the speed value down in the bottom right hand corner, I'm just going to hit a standard smooth 7-iron. I'm not at my fastest right now, but look, that's a 7-iron for me at somewhere around the 80, 85 miles an hour. 81 miles an hour. I'm now going to put my feet together and I'm not going to make any body action or very limited in the body action and just hit one. That was a pretty poor strike. How are we doing for speed? 78 miles an hour. So you can see without any body action, my club speed is about 2 or 3 miles an hour down. And all I'm doing is just using my hands and arms. Now, of course, I now encourage my body to work. And I start to use leg action, trunk, and I start to swing a bit faster. You can see it adds on another 4, 5, 6 miles an hour. When we think about the golf swing, if we don't use our arms, we are not going to maximize our leverage. When we think about golfers using their arms, we always think that the face is going to be unstable. We are going to think about the fact that the face is going to open or closed. Let me just correct you. The minute this golf club moves away from the golf ball, and I've got two canes here, one, the ball to target line, and the second one, the club face. So I'm going to set myself up to this golf ball here. I'm going to move the golf club away. Now, many of you, hopefully all of you, know that that club face should not keep looking down that ball to target line. Now, to a lot of you, that would be a very open club face. And so if I put a cane down that matches the leading edge of that club face, you can see a very open face would be lining up with the ball to target line. If I had a very closed club face, the face would be almost at 90 degrees to that ball to target line, because that would mean that I've really hooded the face back. So if I get myself a really good golf grip, and if you want to learn how to grip the club well, go check out that video up there in the top right hand corner. The grip will ultimately dictate how much your club face opens or closes as you take the club away. It's the biggest governing factor to how that face moves away. So when we think about not using our arms in our backswing and our downswing, it's always been on the proviso because we don't want to make this face open and close. So if you change the way you think about the face rotation in a golf swing because of how you use your grip and how you hold the club predominantly and initially, you can then start to change the way you think about using these arms. So if I keep my feet together and I just make my arms move away from the golf ball, look at the club face here. Now I change my grip. I do exactly the same thing with my arm action. Look at the club face here. Now I weaken my grip. I do exactly the same thing with my arm action here. Can you see I've delivered 3 different face angles away from the golf ball? Now if I've got hand and arm action away from the ball, now all of a sudden I've started to set and load the golf club. And I've started to create some angle at the top. Let me just take the canes away. Now I've got some setting and some loading of the golf club away, because when we don't use our body initially and we start to feel how the arms can move, we start to get a better sequencing of how the club moves and then the body rotates, because the club has a bigger arc to go on. From the start point all the way up to the top, that arc is far more and has more to do for the club than my body has from going from 0 degrees of hip rotation to somewhere in the region of 30 to 35 35 degrees of hip rotation. So that's going to happen really quickly. So if I don't get the club moving first and I don't allow my arms to start to move and load, I'm always going to get there too quick with my body. So this drill of feet together, and it's an old one, but it's a goodie, of just feeling how your arms move up to the top of the backswing really encourages good arm action. And it really encourages you to feel like you can set the club. So when you then start to take away the belief that this face can't rotate on the way back, all of a sudden you're going to feel happier using your arm action. Now on the way down, when we talk about pulling on the golf club and swinging the club, the swing moment down at strike here is where the speed comes from. And of course, if I've now taken my body out of the equation by getting my feet together and starting to allow the golf club to swing, I start to use the set of the golf club and the unset of the golf club to create some speed. Now look at, I'm making little swings here and I'm up at 57 miles an hour. Not too shabby a shot. So we can now go a little bit further, bit more set, bit more hip rotation, bit more body action. But of course, with the feet together, it really makes my base unstable, which will mean that you'll want to use your levers more. And when you want to use your levers more, you'll really start to create a much better perception of how much arm action you want. Then, and really arm action is going to feel almost from the middle of your chest up. Now when I start to wake up from the belt down by opening up my feet, and I start to now encourage the same sensation I was getting with my arm action on the way back, and I now start to encourage foot action on the way back, pressure on my right foot, pressure on my left foot, on top of having that arm action, now all of a sudden I start to fire up the band. I start to get more club speed because I'm getting both ends of the spectrum. Not my best shot there. So I now start to get hand and arm action away from the ball. Now I start to get my foot action, which really starts to now give me more of the speed that I'm looking to create. I wanted to touch up on this because understanding how much you can use your arms in a backswing and a downswing is crucial. If you don't encourage leverage, if you don't encourage a setting of the golf club and an unsetting of the golf club, you are going to lose out on massive speed. Speed that will come so easy to you by just simply doing that little drill of working the club set back, unset on the way down, and taking the body action out of it initially. Then bring your feet back open and then start swinging. If you're tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves, head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves trusted by tour players and elite amateurs alike. Use my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. A way that's going to maximize not only body action, but those arms in your backswing and downswing. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully that's been of some use. And that, my friends, is good coaching.